So good morning, friends. So let me start the day with a very short story. When I was in Fortis, there was this, when I was in the corporate office, there was this boy who will bring me tea every day. The moment I reach the office, he will bring tea, and every time I'll say, good morning, Ram, how are you? Kaise hain? I will ask in Hindi. So, but I am translating in English. Maybe some of you don't know Hindi. So he'll say, ठीक है. ठीक है means I'm good, I'm fine. Okay. So every day he'll come and he will tell me the same answer. So one day I told Ram, why don't you change the answer? Don't say I'm fine, I'm good, but just say I'm great. In Hindi, it is बढ़िया है. बढ़िया. That means great. Okay. So I told him, why don't you try giving this answer? So then he started by answering me. Whenever I say, Ram, बढ़िया है ma'am. And after a week, then he came back and told, कि ma'am, this is really very good. Now I am saying बढ़िया है to everyone, and more people are smiling at me. Because he gives me to many people in the office, right? So he said, now I can see that there are many people who are smiling at me, because when they say, Ram, I am saying बढ़िया है. Then they say, wow, बढ़िया है. Oh, so my one tip to start today is start saying I'm great. We will not be in a position every day that great things are happening in our life, but just practice and you will see the difference, because what it matters is, can I produce more oxytocin in my body? The happy hormone. Can I produce more? You can always, by changing the words that we use, you can always do that. So I would like all of you to, you don't have to unmute. You can say yourself wherever you are sitting. I'm going to ask that question once again. Good morning, and how are you? Let's all say, I'm great. I'm sure that all of you said that. So I am feeling very great that so many of you have joined me today, and I feel very grateful that all of you are here. So let's start this session with a small prayer song, okay? And then we will start. So, but before that, I have a question to all of you. All of you on the screen, you will see the question. You just have to answer yes or no. But be very, very honest. Nobody is going to question you. Why you said yes or why you said no. Just keep your mic muted. That's all. The rest is all fine. Have some more answers. We have about almost 50 people. Okay, 50% have already answered. I'll share the answer also with all of you. So we got some 29 answers. So I'm going to end the poll. Okay, 30. Right. I can't wait for too long, because we do have a long session so that we all learn. So I'm going to share the results. Okay, you can see it on the screen. So out of 31 people who answered, the majority answered yes, and the small percentage you answered no. So I would say, if someone asked me the same question, I would also probably write yes, which is very fine. Because if anyone says that I don't have stress at all, then maybe the people who answered no, they are the few people who are at the moment not feeling stress, just like the way. I am very happy that you all are here and I am not stressed. But I do have a little stress in my head. What is that? I hope the connectivity will not go bad during the session, because I don't want any interruptions, So that little stress, but I push it back. I push it back and say, no, this is not going to bother me today. Okay. It is going to go flawlessly. All the connections are going to be fine. That's the way I think. So please remember that we are discussing today, there will be something for you to take home. So it is for you to listen to the stories and the book that I am going to make it simple for all of you. That's the book from WHO. So before we start, we will start the session with a prayer like many of you have prayed today in the morning. So we are going to do one more prayer with all of you. Okay. So while
when upon life's billows you are tempest tossed, when you are discouraged thinking all is lost, count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. Are you ever burdened with the load of care? Does the cross seem heavy you are called to bear? Count your many blessings, every doubt will fly, and you will be singing as the days go by. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. When you look at others with their lands and gold, think that Christ has promised you his wealth untold. Count your many blessings, money cannot buy your reward in heaven or your home on high. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done.
okay, friends. So I'd like you to take your notepad and pen, okay? And please write in that book blessing that you can remember, that you're grateful for. Count your blessings. You can say, I am grateful. You don't have to write. I'll give you exactly 30 seconds to write down your blessings in your life. So why don't you write your blessings? You will get exactly 30 seconds. I'm watching the time. Write in your notebook. Somewhere you write down your blessings. Let's call it count your blessings. We just heard that song. Someone told me, soothing music, beautiful. Yes, it's a beautiful day. And let's write your blessings. Okay, 30 seconds up and you have a question on your screen. Please select how many you could write. It's not very important. This is not a competition, okay? So just select how many you could write. How many blessings could you write? Oh, somebody wrote more than 15 also. Wow, that's really nice. Okay. All right, all right, all right. Let's get some more people. At least 50% of the people in the session should be answering before I stop the poll. Okay, I'm going to end the poll and I'm going to share the results. So 23% wrote less than 5, 50% 6 to 15, more than 15 is 27%. So many years ago, I did this exercise and I was like, I was less than 5. In 1 minute, I was still thinking, what should I be writing? If any one of you have read the book called The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, she talks about doing this exercise as often as possible. So I started doing this exercise from 5, it became 25. Then I could create a list of almost 150 items that I'm grateful for. They talk about being grateful, like this opportunity that all of us have here is an opportunity that we can be grateful for, right? You can be grateful for the ears because you can hear the session. You can be grateful for the eyesight because we can see session. So like that, all the senses, the birds, the sea, the water, the rain, the sun, if you start writing, I think 150 is nothing. You will still, the list will be still going on. So what I'm trying to say is that an attitude of gratitude is probably, one of the things that we can think of carrying from here, an attitude of gratitude. So let me ask you one more question. Do you believe in an attitude of gratitude? You can say yes or no. So that's an easy one to answer, I guess. Logically, any human being in their good sense will not say no to this particular answer, right? They will always say an attitude of gratitude is always good. The challenge only is, I'm going to end the poll, it is 100%. Everybody says, yes, it is great. The challenge is whether we can remain in that attitude of gratitude situation. So we'll come to that another poll. So I'm going to run that poll also. Let's see. So let's see that this one, I'll give you a little time. You can select all that you think is true. That's all. I mean, you just have to select all the answers. Okay, there you go. So the question is, how often are you grateful? So you can select whatever is right for you. And just be very honest, because nobody is quizzing you. This is not your, you can select more than one answer. You can tick all that apply. Just be totally, brutally honest with yourself. So for this question, I will be giving extra 1 minute because there are multiple things that you have to read and answer. When I was young, if someone will ask me all these questions, maybe at sometimes I used to think, what are these questions? Why he should be answering such questions? It's not important, right? Great. We got half of the participants already answering. Okay, so another 5 seconds and then I will end the poll. Okay. So I'm going to share the results now. So as you can see, we had 36 people answering out of 69. 33% said I'm always in a state of gratefulness. So that's great. I say thank you prayer for everything at least once a day. See, all these statements, those who answered and those who did not answer, I would like you to pay attention to these statements. And in life, it is very important that we invest in certain attitudes. That becomes your personality. So all the youngsters who are sitting here, all the nursing students, I'm sure that you are lucky that you are sitting here and listening to all these reflections. When I was a young nurse, I didn't have all these opportunities. Okay. Technology is helping us, all of us, to be together. So can I have an attitude of, saying prayer first thing in the morning? Just say thank you for everything. Can I do that? Because this is something I picked up from my father. And I think the first thing when I pray in the morning, this is the sentence that automatically comes to me. Thank you, Lord, for everything that you have given me and my family. Okay. It naturally comes, without, I don't even have to think. I say thank you to my family members. Fantastic. 50% answered. I'm so happy because that's one relationship that we tend to not to say thank you enough. So very consciously, we have to develop that habit of saying thank you to our own family members because they are there for us. I always say thank you to my team members. That is 44%. That's low. So it's very nice that those who did not take, I'm happy that at least you are agreeing that I need to say more thank you to my team members. That's fantastic. I try to stay in a state of gratitude most of the time. Yes, 33% said this is a habit. This is a habit, and this is something that one need to practice so that you can claim after some time that I try to stay in a state of gratitude. So when something is, blasting on a, it takes effort to stay in that state of gratitude. So it takes time for you to. So that's what we are going to discuss today. I find it difficult to stay in a state of gratitude when I have, issues, which I think is fair. 28% agreed. And it is difficult. I would definitely say it is difficult. When things are going wrong, it is very difficult suddenly to say, oh, I am thankful for this problem. No, we cannot say that I am thankful for this problem. But in life, when we rewind and look at it, we will see, oh, this is why that happened that day, because this was supposed to happen. You must have heard this famous story where a couple, they missed their bus when they were coming from Jammu, Kashmir or somewhere. And they missed their bus, and then they both were fighting, because of you, we missed the flight, because of you, we missed the bus, they were all fighting. While they were fighting and waiting for another bus to come, they got this news. The bus that they missed had a very major accident and people died and a lot of people got hurt. So suddenly their fight stopped and they said, thank God we did not get into the bus. So let us not worry too much about what is going wrong. And we need to have an attitude of looking at it, what can be done at a particular situation. I am angry most of the time because I have so much problems. That's a small percentage. I empathize with you, and it is a possibility that we can be angry all the time because you feel as though everything is going wrong. So today's session, we are going to share with you, tips from the WHO, where WHO is given us a complete book, and I am trying to decipher that book for you in simple terms. And I got this opportunity because yesterday was the World Health Day. So thank you once again for all of you for being here, and thank you for answering all that. Now, the World Mental Health Day was yesterday, and the theme was mental health in an unequal world. I am very sure unequal, that word will mean many things to many, all of us. I mean, it will be different For me, inequality could be something else. Okay. So now let me just tell you that why am I an expert to talk about mental health? No, I am not a mental health nurse. I have no experience in mental health, but I have experience of being on this earth for 63 years. 64th is going on. And I had been a nurse from the age of 17. So I have seen all of it being a nurse. So I didn't want to be a nurse. Then I became a nurse. And because I became a nurse, I realized I have so much of blessings from God that I can share with my patients. When the patients started saying thank you and they loved me, I loved my profession more. Then I realized that I have a great passion for being a critical care nurse. So I invested learning everything in critical care. So when the colleagues and the doctors started appreciating what a great critical care nurse you are, I started to invest more in myself to become better. Then I got into administration. I got this opportunity to manage thousands of nurses. Did I make mistakes? Yes, I did make mistakes. But I made sure that every mistake I reflected and I learned from it so that I do not make the same mistake. After all this journey, being an administrator, then I got into training and education. I also got certified as a simulationist. That's the time I realized, oh my God, my acting can come to use. When I am being a trainer, I can act when I am in a scenario. So all the gifts that God has given me, I was able to utilize in this profession in various ways. And after 2020, I started my own company. And this company, because it's my company, so I decide that I want to do a free webinar. I don't have to ask anyone. I can be right here with you, spending my time explaining and sharing what I think can share with the future in India. So once again, thank you everyone for being here. And I will try to make this as useful as for you. So what are we going to discuss today? Doing what matters in times of stress. So we are trying to understand when we are stressed, what is it that we can do? So all the content that I am going to explain is taken from this book from WHO, and this is what I am going to address, because there are many ways to discuss about managing stress, but I am using this as my material to explain this to you. So let's go ahead and see that. So very well, as the beginning itself, it says that if you are experiencing stress, don't worry, you're not alone. We are all together. And many of us, we have different types of stress. But it's very important to know what practical skills that I can learn or I can do when I am stressed. But if you say that, I want to have a situation where there is no stress in my life, it's not going to happen. It's utopia. It will never happen. There will be stress in our life. So let's see that what is that this document is going to, tell us. So let's see. So for that, let's put some, I will start the session with the kindness video, and I'm going to end the session also with the kindness video. Well, the person you see here he's Mr. Simon Sinek, the most popular guru in leadership. You can find him on YouTube, as many videos as you want. He talks about many things around leadership. So this is also about, being kind. So let's listen to him.
Acts of kindness, acts of generosity is how simple it is to make people feel good.
Can I just check once? Are you all able to hear? Can I see some thumbs up?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Great, great. Thank you.
I was walking down the streets of New York City, and a guy walking in front of me, his backpack opened and a bunch of paper fell out on the street. I didn't think much of it. I bent down, I gathered up the papers, handed them back to him, and pointed out that his bag had opened. Now, in our bodies, there's a chemical called oxytocin. Oxytocin is responsible for all the warm and fuzzies, unicorns and rainbows. It's responsible for all the warm feelings and connectedness we have with each other. Friendship, love. Huge amounts of oxytocin surge through a woman's body as she gives birth. This is what is responsible for the mother-child bond. Oxytocin binds human beings. There are many ways to get oxytocin. One of them is acts of kindness and acts of generosity. It feels good when we do something nice for someone. It feels good when someone does something nice for us. On this particular day, I did something for someone with no expectation of anything in return. I got a little surge of oxytocin. I felt good. He turned to me and he said, "Thank you. It feels nice when someone does something for us with no expectation of anything in return." He felt good. I walked to the end of the street. I'm waiting to cross the street. And a total stranger who happened to be standing next to me said, "I saw what you did back there. That was really cool." As it turns out, witnessing an act of generosity releases oxytocin. And he felt good. And the best part about oxytocin is the more oxytocin we have in our bodies, the more generous we become. It is Mother Nature's way of trying desperately to get us to look after each other. I can guarantee you that that man who witnessed what I did something nice for somebody that day simply because he saw someone do something nice for somebody that day. So what if we commit to do something nice for someone with no expectation of anything in return?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Imagine what happens at work. Imagine what happens at home. Imagine what happens with our friends. Imagine what happens at work. Imagine what happens at home. Imagine what happens with our friends. But it must be genuine.
I'm sorry, just a second. Just give me 1 second, please. Okay, this is where we are. I'm sorry because I'm admitting people. So when I click that, you tend to lose the video.
Acts of kindness.
Yeah.
So what if we commit to do something nice for someone with no expectation of anything in return? Imagine what happens at work. Imagine what happens at home. Imagine what happens with our friends. But it must be genuine.
So friends, so that is what. So as Simon told here, an act of kindness will release a lot of oxytocin. And the person who receives the kindness, when they say thank you, you release a lot of oxytocin. And the most important part, someone watching it, they are also able to release oxytocin. So it is not rocket science. I think being kind is a principle that if we adopt in our life, wherever we are, it can definitely help you in managing your stress. So as we discussed from the book, what are we going to discuss? We are going to discuss 5 things as told in the book. This is called grounding, unhooking, acting on your values, being kind, and making room. These are the 5 chapters in that book, and this is what we are going to discuss today very quickly. So before we start, it is very important that all of us promise to ourselves. This book is actually evidence-based practices brought together in an illustrative manner because it's very easy to read. It is all drawn down. Now, it is very, very important that we should promise to ourselves that something that we take away from here today, it should not be that it was a nice session. I heard very nice things. It is not going to help you. In the book that you have, you're going to make notes to say, I'm going to practice this more, or I'm going to start practicing this today. This is something that you must write down if you don't write anything else. So if you say that, I need to be more aware of being kind, maybe just opening a door for someone or waiting someone to pass when you're getting into the lift. But one need to be very aware that what is it that I'm not talking about waiting someone to get into the lift, you are running for an emergency in the hospital. That's not the case. So let's first of all look at what is grounding. So all of us know what is stress. I don't want to talk about it again because we are saying, okay, somebody was rude to me yesterday. Somebody did not say good morning to me. Somebody did not listen to me. Or my parents were fighting in the morning. Or the principal scolded me. My teacher scolded me. Or I am not well. Or there is illness in the family. uh, During COVID, there was no school, so children were, stressed because they wanted to go to school, but they are not able to go to school, right? And yes, you have problems because you don't have enough money in your hand to spend for your family, or you lost your home in many countries because of war and other reasons, they lose, or there is violence in the community, or there is arguments in the family, uncertainty about future because you don't know what is going to happen. So these are not the only ones. And then what happens when you are stressed? It is possible that you are not able to focus. I would like to see in the chat box, if you say that when you are stressed, what happens to you? What happens? Do you get easily, you get angry, or you are not able to sit in one place, or you have difficulty sleeping, or you feel very tired, or you feel very guilty, or you cry? What happens when you are stressed, or you don't eat? Some people eat more, or what do you do? Or you think about the worst things that can happen, or you feel sorry about yourself, saying that, oh my God, I did that, I did this, I did this. Now this person is doing this to me. And this is what you feel. So can I get some responses in the chat box? How do you, manage your stress? Can you just type it in the chat box? At least one or some of you can write down out of all this, what happens? You don't have appetite, you don't learn, you can't sleep well. Can someone answer that? The more we are able to share, the more we will benefit from this session. Otherwise, it is like a class. I mean, this cannot be like a class because these are practices that you're going to take home. Can someone just put it in the chat box? Just to me, you don't have to put to everyone. If you want to be to only to me, okay, feeling tired, changes in appetite, or we eat more, cannot sleep, okay. So yes, we do have some stress, right? When I am stressed, I think my family members are able to make out because my expression changes. So they get worried, asking that what happened, because probably my smile, the pleasantness on my face, it tends to disappear. And I don't feel like working much then. Then I find some excuse not to do the work. So there are many ways that we respond to stress, which is perfectly fine. And this session is not about, I'm sure that all of us can identify the stress. So let's see. So what happens is that, so everyone experiences stress. So all of these can happen, but we must know that all these things can also affect our body. Because when the stress is not managed, when it is not taken care of, then it can actually become a physical problem. So this is something that we should keep in our mind. You are always under stress, because finally it can come out physical problems that, you actually catch a cold, you catch a flu, you get infections very quickly, or you will have skin rashes, headache, physical symptoms are going to come up, including pain in different parts of the body. So it is very important, and we are all in it together. So this is not that only you are having the problem. So everybody has stress. But one more important thing for all of us to learn is that, can I request everyone to mute yourself? Is that stress is good. It's like Hindi, there is a tagline, no, Daag acha hai. So something like that. A little bit of stress is good. Why a little bit of stress is good? Like anyone like to say that why a little bit of stress is good? Anybody can unmute and share. Why do you think a little bit of stress is good? Anyone?
Hi, good morning, ma'am. This is Netra.
Yeah.
Stress is a part of life. It should be there because we will learn many problem-solving technique in that. And
Great.
in future, it will be very good. We can face the situation and we will learn how to handle that kind of situation in future.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Netra. And yes, very rightly told, the stress will help us to learn. Second thing, it will also motivate to perform better, right? When you are stressed about, appearing for an exam, you obviously put effort to study and then appear for the exam, right? So a little bit of stress is good, but then over stress is what is not good for us. Now, let's see this word called hooked. The WHO talks about hooked. What happens when a thought of stress or a reality or something happens in our life? What happens? This is our thoughts and feelings which is giving us the stress, right? There is nothing that is, we are not talking about physical stress here. I have to carry 100 kgs of, weight and I am feeling physically stressed. We are not talking about that. We are talking about thoughts and feelings that we have when there is stress. It is very natural to have that. And then we can get hooked to this. Hooked means what? As you see here, you get hooked. Hooked. I mean, it's an English word, what means you get attached. You get attached to your thoughts and feelings. So what happens? You're trying to stay out of stress and you're fine. Okay, you're having a good day. And the next moment you might be feeling stressed. Maybe someone that you had a fight with yesterday, they come in your periphery and you say, oh, again, she has come and is giving me stress. It happens. It happens with me also sometimes in some meetings because I know that in some meetings, some people have to say something against everything, and those kind of people can be stressful for us, right? So when that person walks in, I can get stressed, so I can get hooked to that person. And then in that meeting, I can become counterproductive because all the time I'm thinking about that person. What is that person going to say? What is that person going to respond? What am I going to do about it? So that way I am getting hooked to that. And when I get hooked to that, I will not do my best in that meeting. I'm just giving an example. Okay. Now, if you are a student, you're sitting in the class, and then maybe in the morning you had a little fight with your best friend, and that is bothering you. Now the teacher is there and she's taking a good class, and then you are sitting like this and you are like thinking about her only. My God, why did I fight? Now this what happened? You are hooked to that thought. So the opportunity that is right in front of you, it is getting lost, right? So you can literally get. Can I request everyone to stay muted, please? Yeah, thank you. So you can get hooked to your thoughts. Now, Yanti, please. If you are having any other things to do, I will request you that, you can please leave. Don't try to write two boards at the same time. It will not work because, you will drown. So better be here. You can always watch the recording later. All right. So what happens when you get hooked? You can't let it go. It's like a fish that got hooked on your, fishing net, The same way your thoughts and feelings can get hooked. Now, when you get hooked, what happens? It also talks about values. So it all depends on what values we carry. So if we go back to the my meeting, okay, where I am getting hooked with this person who is coming into the meeting. So I can be like this, the one moment you are happily enjoying the family, and the next moment you are hooked by angry thoughts. It may be because the children did not finish the food on the thing. My value is that you should not waste food. So I get angry. I say, why are you leaving the food on the thing? Why are you dropping the food on the table? So that can be related to the values which can work for me or it can work against me also. Now it's very important what values that we believe in. This is very important. So while I am going to get angry with my children, my value will be, as a mother, I need to guide my children to learn the right values. So I have to teach them the value of food. Maybe that time I'll say, beta, you dropped food on the table. Can you imagine? At the same time, there are millions of children across the world who are going to sleep without having even a slice of bread. Think about that. So don't you think that we should not waste the food? So that's a different way of showcasing the same thing. And you're sitting in the class, you're thinking about your friend, and you say, oh my God, I'm going to miss this teacher's class because I'm getting hooked to that sort. What am I going to do? I'll say sorry to her in the evening. I will reconcile, no problem. So again, that's your value of being apologetic for something that you have done. The videos which are, not held properly, please don't do that. Please don't show your fans and tables and other things, because that's not, I just told you, keep the video on if your face can be shown. That's all I'm requesting. All right. Thank you. So values, so they can, when something is happening, the values, either it can bring us towards the values or it can take away from the values, taking away from the values. So what are the values? Can I ask some of you to write down in the chat box, what are the values that you live by? What are the values that you live by? What are the values that you live by? Can I have some answers in the chat box? Some answers? We already talked about a couple of values already. Yeah, can someone type in, please? Thank you. Your values, what are your values? What are the values that you, gratitude, okay, great. Anyone else? Patience, very good, thank you. Anybody else? Helping each other, being kind, loyalty, honesty, kindness, very good, very good. So you can have different values in life, right? So the core values, what do we live by? For example, there are values like loving, wise, attentive, committed, persistent, responsible, being calm, caring, protective, courageous, being loyal, having a helping nature, smiling, you like to be grateful. So these are not the end of the list. You can have your own values, right? Not telling lies, having honesty and integrity, So I know I have a weakness, because I believe so much in not telling lies that when someone lies to me, I really get very upset. That's one of the things that really hassle me so much. It tends to make me angry. I usually don't get angry, but I get angry when people are unfair and when they are telling lies. So I know that that is my weakness. So I am very careful when such things are happening. I have to tell myself, Thankam, you're going to be angry. So think about it before you become angry. So that's the way that I love to approach my own personality. All right. So now, very important that being a nurse, it's not easy. And I think most of you sitting here, you all are nurses or nursing students, So they say there are two roles which are like very close to being perfect. That is, one is being a mother and second is being a nurse. Nobody is perfect, but if you are a nurse, you are pretty damn close. You know why it is? Being a nurse itself commands and demands so many values because we are working with human beings. We are entrusted with the safety, the life of the patients whom we are assigned to. And the academicians who are sitting here, you are preparing the nurses who are going to be taking charge of lives. Can you imagine? What a Herculean task that we are preparing these nurses. Doctors would come and go, but it is the nurses who are going to be there with the patient, deciding what to do, what not to do. So it is a highly responsible job. So I'm sure that we all carry our values into our professional lives as well. So these values play a great role uh, to manage your stress. Now, if you are sitting in this session, it may be because you care for your values. You want to make yourself a better human being. That's why you are here. And those who are going to watch the recording later also, probably you carry that value, say that I care about me, I care about my family, I care about my team, I care about my patients. So whatever is going to happen here, I am going to learn something to care for myself and for others. That's why you are here. And that's why all the people who will watch the recording will be watching this. So now it's very important that during stressful situations, so we are actually learning that how can we manage stress, right? So when there is a stressful situation, what happens? We learned that difficult thoughts and feelings can hook us, which can pull us away from our values. So there is a saying, no, that the arrow that leaves the bow and the word that leaves the mouth cannot come back. I'm very sure many of you have experience where, even I have experience where you regret after saying something. You say, "Shucks, I should not have told that," right? But it's already done. It's because during that stressful moment, that particular moment, it pulled us away from our values. That's not me. I don't want to say that. But it just came out because for that moment, it pulled me away from the values. But if we are managing, if we have certain practice that we carry with us, then it can actually bring me back to my values. So what will happen again, it is based on my thoughts and feelings. So when I want to blast because I'm feeling angry or whatever, if I take a moment and take a deep breath and tell myself, Thankam, you're very angry, so watch your words, watch your words. I have to tell this to myself hundreds of times for me to make it a habit. It is not going to happen overnight, or it's not going to happen because you're sitting here. Here, you're only picking up the awareness and what you can do to yourself and to others, right? So it's very important to know yourself. What are your strengths and what are your weaknesses while we go through this, right? There is nothing like I can teach you or you can memorize and you will become somebody else tomorrow. Even I will not become somebody else tomorrow. But for me, this session is a reinforcement of many things that I have learned throughout my 63 years of age, and I'm still learning. So for me it is a reinforcement reminder what I should stop and what I should continue, what will bring me back to my values, what are the things that usually takes me away from values. I'm going to stop here for a moment, and I will ask you to write in your book, not in the chat box, write in your book at least one habit that you think that you can work upon so that you are not taken away from the values, you are being drawn towards your values. You know what are your values. Now you know what behavior of yours can take you away from the value. So maybe you can write it in your own notebook. I'm not going to ask you what you wrote. So think about it. What is it that can pull you away? So if you write it down, then you know you need to do something about it. And that agreement to do something about it to yourself is a great beginning. So that's what, agreeing that this is what I am, this is who I am, I need to work on these areas is the beginning of improvement. So don't stay hooked into one state. And I have met a couple of personalities in my life, and I've seen them over the years in my own family. It's very sad when someone has negative behavior. Let's say someone has this habit of throwing things when they are very angry. They are damaging. Throwing things There is one way of managing stress by throwing things that we will do exercise in a minute. So whenever that person did that, they always used to say, oh, she's just like her, uncle, he also used to be like that. She's just like that. Now, after the person has become adult, the parents are crying. I find that person finding it so difficult to manage her life because she is so hooked to those behaviors. Unfortunately, the parents also facilitated them by saying that, oh, this is how it is. She is like her uncle. So she had that, thing to do when she was young. And when she became adult, now that's not desirable now. So think about it. What am I hooked to? Do I allow myself to get hooked to certain habits? Is when I am a nurse, am I hooked to not speaking up when I see something going wrong? Am I hooked to that I don't have that courage? You'll say, oh, if I speak up, that is headache. I don't want to do that. And that's against my values, but I don't want to have that tension of speaking up. Is that what you are thinking? Are you hooked? You have to learn to unhook. We will be talking about it, that how do you unhook yourself also. So what are this hooking, what are the things that get you hooked? Oh, I give up. It's too bad. He should not have done that. It's like it's his fault. It's her fault. It's my in charge's fault. It is my organization's fault. It is my department head's fault. It is that one's fault. It is this one's fault. But maybe I am so weak, I cannot speak up. I'm crazy. I'm always like that. And then you say that, I had difficult memories. We are here talking about regular stress that we are facing. I'm not talking about someone who has got a mental health issue. So that's a totally different domain. I'm not wandering into that at all. I'm talking about you and me leading regular lives, with our regular stress. How can we manage this stress? So how can we unhook ourselves? Either we are worried about ourselves, or we are blaming others, or you are worried about somebody else. It is possible that I have a son, so when he travels out, I can remain hooked all the time, worrying, where is he, what is he doing, has he reached, has he not reached? So the whole time I am stressed. So this is something that I have to be aware that I'm getting hooked, and slowly this can change our behaviors altogether, because then we are not willing to listen to others. We are not willing to, we always have a ready-made answer for everything, for all the behaviors that we have. When I'm 63, my danger is always that, oh, I have enough experience. So this is what I am going to behave like this. So sometimes I tend to tell my son, no, don't tell me what to do. I'm your mother. I lived on the earth longer than you. Though that's a joke. So now it is important to see, understand what am I hooked to. So we can get into fights, we can back answer, we can create a toxic environment because we are hooked to certain behaviors, right? So always disagreeing and fighting. So now we need to think that, what is the other way of getting hooked? That you may completely withdraw, or you are going to sleep it off. Like many of you said, that, when I am stressed, I can sleep off. I feel very tired. As I told you, I may not be even tired, but I will not feel like doing anything if I am having too much of stress. But that is very seldom, because I had practiced many things in my life so that, the stress does not get into me. So I usually try to tell my son, look at the problems objectively. Don't let them hassle you. Don't internalize the, stress or the problem. So what we should do is, what can we do? So we are going to understand how can we focus, engage, pay attention, and how is this going to help us? And this is what the book is, discussing about. How do we do that? So we are going to get into that what can be done when you are stressed, right? So let's get into that. First is to discuss about engage. Engage. I mean, what do you mean by engage? It's a very common word, you know. To engage, so I asked all of you, I think I put a note there. How many of you have a glass of water with you? In case you have a glass of water, please take that glass of water with you and please do this exercise with me. Please do not, one of the greatest mistake that we do in our life is that when we get into discussing these kind of things, many people say, very mushy, mushy, what is this? There's no, believe me, I also did that probably when I was very, very young. But I was very lucky to attend a retreat when I was 18. I think when I was 18 years old, while I was doing the nursing with the priest. That's the time I understood that, you know, just simply sitting quiet and reflecting on what is happening in my life can be a stress buster itself. So being engaged with what you are doing right now. So if all of you have a glass of water, I would like you to take the glass of water and drink the water with your eyes closed and only paying attention to the water. Drink it very slowly. One more sip. Okay. Usually when we drink water, you must be smiling to yourself. What a joke. When I'm drinking water, do I pay attention? We don't. When I engage with drinking water, when I'm focusing, I am going to pay attention to the water. And for that moment, I will know what is the taste of my water. Am I grateful that I have got a glass and I also got drinking water, which is coming from RO in my home? Maybe yes. I need to pay attention, get engaged. When I listen to music, do I really pay attention to the music? When you walked into the class, those who came early, you must have heard the music that I was playing. It was a very soothing music with a lot of birds chirping. So now I'll give you a tip of, you know, practicing, engaging, or you call it as mindfulness. There are many different words which are there for you to remember that how can you give full attention to something or any activity that you are doing. Now, this is a very powerful thing for a nurse because many times, you know, when I used to discuss with my nurse that, you know, why don't you, you know, engage with your patient? So they are like, how do I engage with my patients? Ma'am, we are too busy. There is nothing like busy. So if I am giving medication to my patient, why don't I pay attention only to that activity? Focus and engage. I know the protocol. I follow the protocol. I talk to my patient. I identify my patient. I explain the medications. I tell them for what it is for. And then I make sure that I provide the medication. I ensure they have taken the medication. After that, I document the medications and I remember to say thank you to my patient. And before I leave, I even ask my patients that thank you. You have taken all your medications. Now I'm leaving. Is there anything else I can do for you? Asking that last question, you will also know that he will not ring the bell very soon because you already asked, is there anything else I can do for you? So they will tell you if they need anything else. So you can translate this into every single nursing activity. You can translate this into every single personal activity, whether it is at home with your friends or in the hostel or in the school. Are you totally engaged? Now, in this session, as you are listening to me, not all of you are engaged because you might be doing something else. The camera, you have logged in, but you're thinking that, you know, I will listen and I can do something else. I also do that at times, but I know I am not fully engaged. Absolutely. Can you please mute yourself? And I'm requesting, if you are not able to stay engaged in this session, please do leave. No problem. You can watch this recording later. But those who are trying to stay engaged in the session, allow them so that you don't disturb them. So please don't unmute yourself and stay in the session. That's the only way you're going to benefit, right? If you are not engaged in this session, you will be attending this like any other webinar, and it is not going to help you much, okay? It will not help you to get unhooked from your thoughts and feelings. So when you are giving full attention to what you are doing, you are engaged and you are focused. Please remember these two words, that you are engaged and you are focused. So the book is very simple, okay? So once you are focused and you are engaged, then you can manage your stress better because you become aware of the stress. You will find that you are engaged with, when you are, let's say you are serving food to your family. If you are engaged, you're going to talk to them. You're focused. You're ensuring that everything is served the right way. You will sit with them, have dinner with them, have chit chat. Or are you allowing the greatest enemy in today's engagement and focus is our mobile? I am sure that all of you agree. It happens in my family also. We are sitting for lunch or dinner and everybody is busy in their mobile. So I usually make it a habit, pick up all the mobiles and put it far away and say, you look at it once you finish your dinner or lunch. So we need to be now aware that, this can become a very big deterrent for us. The mobile. No, the what you call the temptation to look at all the social media when it is not the right time. I also do mistakes at times, I know this is not the time to look at my Facebook. I usually don't look at, accidentally I get into it and sometimes I waste my time and I tell myself, Thankam, you should not have done that. But I don't beat myself up. I'm kind. I will tell myself, it's okay, you made a mistake. Next time, take care. So it's very important to be kind to ourselves. So how can we stay engaged and focused? We already did the water exercise. Now I'll tell you one more tip. Tomorrow morning when you get up, do one thing. Go to your balcony, go outside, wherever you go in the morning. Try to pay attention and see that, can I hear new words? Can I hear new sounds? Can I hear new sounds? Are there new smell? Can I hear some smells? So all this activity that you are doing is actually getting unhooked, right? So you go to the balcony and you say, okay, can I hear birds chirping? So really you be there and say, pay attention. So when I did this first time, a couple of years ago, when I did this exercise, because I was doing one meditation course with the Indian guru there in US, I'm forgetting. Okay. I did that for 21 days. So that was one of the exercise that he gave. And I went out and I used to go to balcony every day. I'll kind of go there and take a deep breath. And that's what I usually do. So that day, because they asked me to do this, so I found new sounds. I found there are birds that I have not seen or heard. I found green butterfly, which I have never noticed before. And I looked at all the different shapes of leaves, different shapes and different flowers that is there in my balcony. I noticed it for the first time. So this is very important that so maybe you are playing with your children. Are you really engaged or you are hooked with your thoughts? Or can you leave it outside? So there is a saying, when you get into hospital, leave your problems, get unhooked. It's not very easy to leave. And when you come back to your home, can we get unhooked from all those thoughts and feelings that we had in our, working space? This is a conscious practice one has to do. It is very important. So when my son was very young, my unhooking was very easy. The moment I come home and my son runs to me, I am totally unhooked. I forget everything that has happened in the hospital. So you will have whatever that you focus and get engaged, you will get hooked to it. Now, better get hooked to good practices, not to wrong practices. So better unhook and focus on things, that thoughts which are positive and which is going to help you, or activities that are going to help you. So it is better that think of a way that how you can unhook. So I cannot teach you, you do this and you will get unhooked. But it's very important to identify yourself that this is how I get hooked. There may be possibility that we can have major stress in our life. It will take a little time. This is very important. So it's very important to remember, the more we feed the stress, it will become a storm. So there is also this one story, a small child, the grandfather is telling the story. All of us have two wolves, two wolves inside us. So they always keep having fight. So then the child asks, so grandpa, which one will win? So grandpa says, the one whom you feed will win. It is same, good and evil. Your thoughts, whatever thoughts that you are feeding more, it is going to be more powerful. And it is almost like if stressful thoughts are being fed all the time, it is almost like you are sitting on the top of a tree and there is a storm and you are cutting your own branch. You're still sitting there. You're not trying to get down. So maybe this is something that you would like to be kind to yourself and get off from the tree. There is a storm. Don't try to feed your stress again and again and again. Come down from the tree. Stay under the shade. Maybe do a kind of actness. Do a act of kindness. Be kind to somebody else. Maybe that is going to produce more oxytocin, and then you will be able to manage the stress which is happening in your life. I think the most easiest way to do, which is my practice, is that when I meet people, I smile. The day I don't smile, I am very much aware that today in this interaction, I did not smile. I told thank you to the person who brought my delivery without smiling. The moment I finish, I'm aware and I tell myself, Thankam, you lost that opportunity to give something positive to that person who brought your item. I did say thank you as a customary thank you, but I did not smile. Would you like to consider doing this in your life? If you're already doing it, great. The word that WHO book talks about is grounding. So how do you ground yourself? It simply means you remain engaged and focused and be mindful. Take a moment and engage your senses to smell a flower. Maybe eat your food more knowingly. So I watched a video where Madhavan, the famous actor from South, he was sharing a story about he went to France or somewhere to lose weight. Okay. So the one activity that he was sharing, that the first day they asked them to come for a breakfast by the beachside, and each table had complete layout of the breakfast. And then they were told that you can eat whatever you want from here. You can eat whatever you want from here. But there is only one condition, that every bite you have to chew for 40 seconds. That every bite you have to chew for 40 seconds. And keep your feet on the ground. I mean, keep your feet on the ground. All of you who are, able to put your feet on the ground right now, you can put without your chappal. And if you are at home, just put your feet on the ground and feel your dharti, earth, feel it. So what happened in that breakfast? Almost all the table were not used, because when you chew for a longer time, you are being very mindful about what you are eating. So your stomach actually feels full. because you had been chewing your food very well. So you're stopping yourself from eating too much. After seeing that video, I tried. I'm sorry, I was not totally successful. On and off, I keep trying because I also want to lose some weight. Not very successful, I should say. But when we hear such things, when we learn such things, unless you imbibe them into your life, it is not going to help us. Now, very easy thing to do is in the morning when you get up, just take some deep breaths. Maybe if you can sit on the floor, and or you sit on a low stool, keep your feet on the ground. Now in Ayurveda, they do talk about walking barefoot, because we all are wearing shoes. Now, I learned the other day, I was reading an article wherein they said that in Africa, the people who don't use chappals, they have callus under their feet. So the Harvard people, they went to study them to see whether their nerve endings were intact, or, what is it? They were actually doing a study to prevent falls in the elderly. So they found that despite not wearing chappals, they had probably the most sensitive nerve endings, which prevented them from fall. So even the people who are 70, 80 years, they were not falling down. Their ability to keep the posture was far more greater than the city people who were older. So they are talking about, keeping your feet, barefoot on the ground and walking. And, there are tips wherein in the night, if you don't feel sleepy, you take oil and massage the sole of your feet. You can, I have tried it, and I'll tell you, it works wonders. And those who have little pain, you can even try wicks. These are things that worked for me. So when you massage that, you are soothing your nerve endings, and there is a particular point where one nerve is getting activated so that you don't fall that easily. And stretching also helps. Now, all of you who are there right now, just do one stretch. Go out, open your hand, and make sure that you are stretching as far as possible. Okay. And bring your hand in front and make sure that your back muscles are totally stretched, and you hold your hand in front, and same way you go behind, stretch your back, stretch it. And each stretch can stand for, you can keep it for about 5 seconds. When you do that, one of my favorite stretches is this. Those who are working with computers, it works very well. Hold your hand, then push with the other hand totally to the opposite side. I love this stretch very much because it really helped me to relax, and I keep telling this. Then there are other stretches which are available. I'm very sure that if you look for stretch in the YouTube, you will find a lot of things that you can take into your life. And this really helps breathing and stretching. And the next one is, we already discussed about engaging and focusing. Let's do one small exercise very quickly. Wherever you are sitting, look around the room and find something that you have not noticed so far. I'll give you exactly 10 seconds for you to do that exercise. So, yes, I noticed something already which I didn't notice from morning. And I have this is a Jerry. I also have a Tom. This is Tom, sorry. I also have a Jerry. So Tom had already fallen. I did not notice from morning that he has fallen down. Now, along with you, I did the exercise, and I quickly found out that Tom had fallen down. So I have straightened him. So have you found something interesting in the room? Maybe that's something that you would like to do, being aware, totally engaged and focusing, and feel the things which are in your room. You spend 5-10 seconds. I'm not saying that throughout 24 hours you're going to do this, but every time promise yourself that you will do this exercise once in a while, especially when you are stressed. Slow down, unplug, take time to breathe, Go out in the terrace, look at the sky. If it's night, maybe look at the stars. Take time to walk barefoot. Maybe early morning sun, once in a while, look at the sun and say, wow, beautiful. Find your center. That means put your feet on the ground and be silent. I know in city it's very difficult to find the silent moment, but maybe you will have your corner somewhere. Find that corner. Seconds just being there. So it is possible that you can still remain grounded. So sometimes we get grounded very quickly. It's like a storm, a stress that would come, and you tried these techniques and you were able to manage. The all these things that we are learning is not to remove the stress from our life. It is more how I am going to manage the stress. This is what is very important. So whatever that we are learning, whether it is grounding, engaging, or focusing, getting unhooked, all these are practices which will give you new skills so that you can unhook yourself from the stress that you are experiencing. So the book goes on to explain all the little techniques, all the thoughts that may come to your mind, that whether I can unhook, whether I can ground myself, whether I can engage, can I refocus? It is very important. You want to bring a change in your life. I want to bring a change in my life. I need to refocus and I need to tell myself I am going to reinvent myself. I want to make Thankam a new Thankam. Yes, I have reinvented myself many times in my life in my nursing profession. The, the avatar that you see right now is the CEO of my own company, right? I did many, many other roles. Now, all of them didn't happen automatically. They all happened because of focus and being grounded, understanding what is the plus and minus of my decisions. So, how do you remain grounded? See things that you want to see. When you are a nurse, see the things in your patient. Listen. Listen to others. Use your hands to feel your patients. Use your hands to heal your patients. Use your hands to love yourself. I want all of you to do this once and say that, I'm good. I love you. If you cannot love yourself, then we cannot love anybody else. It is not selfish, please understand. It is not selfish to care for yourself. It is not selfish to love yourself. Only thing that should not be the only thing that is happening in our life. That is when it becomes an obsession, then we do not care for others. Think of the smells. When you are a nurse, don't forget, all the five senses are very critical to make a diagnosis of a patient. You have all learned that. When we eat, the things that you can taste. So stop a minute. This is called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 techniques, 5 senses technique. Anybody can use it anytime. So that is not a big deal at all. So please go ahead and you can try them, right? Now, unhooking, we talked a lot, so I will not be going through this unhooking picture by picture. It talks about unhooking from the thoughts and processes, thoughts and feelings that you have, that all these things, it is not possible to get rid of the stress altogether. It is not that. Neither are we going to run away from stress. Stress management is not running away from stress. It's actually recognizing your stress and using the practices, the skills that we have developed to address them. This is what is important. So I would like you to take a moment, maybe 15 seconds, and write down the things that you have tried to get rid of difficult thoughts and feelings. So what do you do when you are stressed? I appreciate a couple of people putting your thoughts into the chat box also. Great. I'm looking at my time also. So my common way of managing stress is when I listen to music. Or as I grow older, I like to sleep, keep quiet and then reflect on my own life and say thank you to many things God has given me throughout my life. So this is something I repeatedly do whenever I have bad time. So someone says move around a little. Yes, you get up and walk around a little. That's the way that you are managing the stress. When you are in the when I was in the hospital, obviously I cannot listen to music. So I used to take a walk. Very common thing. And I usually refrain from discussing or making any decisions when I'm under stress. So I will tell my team members also, let's park it. We will revisit. Let's park it. Usually was my response. Let's park it. We will address it later. Being calm, moving around. Yes, a lot of people are moving around. Yes, you can take deep breaths while you are walking. This is very nice. You don't have to do much when you're walking around. Just do a couple of stress backward and forward, and take few deep breaths. You will find yourself getting more calmer. So there are many things. There are people who can be yelling about it, avoiding the situations, giving up, drinking alcohol. Very famous answer from many men: I smoked before because I'm stressed. I really cannot imagine how smoking is just a habit. So I usually talk to them, do you know that you're feeling maybe less stressed, but you are harming your body so much, right? So we tend to get into bad habits when we are stressed. So it is very important, first of all, to acknowledge that I am stressed, and we need to develop positive coping strategies. Now, this is very, very important. And for that, it is very important to recognize what are the thoughts that hook you up. So I can't say that what hooks me is the same for you. So you learned the word hook. So remember to recognize those things that you are getting hooked. That means notice and name them. So you can say that, this is giving me a lot of stress. Or you will say that, exam is coming. I am not prepared. So I'm feeling, note in my stomach. My butterflies before a session is a normal stress, and it's actually positive. It will help you to do better. So, or I'm having headache, right? Headache is a very common expression for me when I am stressed. So when I usually ask myself, Thankam, why are you having headache? What is bothering you? I have to name it. It's very important. I have to name it. I should say, it is happening because, my sister told me this or something that happened. I'm able to name it. Then I'll say, okay, maybe she had a bad day. Maybe that's why she told like that. It's okay. Let it go. Next time when I talk to them, I'll pretend as though nothing happened. I will be my happy self. Then my headache tends to go. So, but these things are very important to practice. If you don't practice, it is not going to help you. It is nice to know things. It is definitely not going to help you. So it's very important to identify, name, and notice what is happening when you are under stress, right? Name and notice them. And start saying that, here is a thought, here is a feeling which is bothering me, right? I have a headache because of that, or I have a stomachache because of that. Many people know when something happened in the hospital, what happens? Next day, sick leave. And the sick leave is not there to recover from the stress. It's just that they are stressed, so they take sick leave. They are not able to address the issue. You want to tell your senior or boss to say that what you did was not fair. But you don't want to say, or you can't say. So you are under stress. You're not doing anything about it. So stress is not going to go away. So there is a courage that is required, that there is a courage that you need to call in so that you can speak up to this person, right? Again, the thoughts and feelings are coming into play, which is, switch you like that from 1 second being okay to another second not being okay. So it's very important to be aware, notice, and name them that this is what is happening with you. So a lot of slides are about definitely knowing you far more better so that you can manage your own stress. So it's like everybody's having dinner. I am noticing feelings of anger. I'm getting angry. So then you can say, even though I am getting the feelings of anger, I am choosing to act on my value of caring by refocusing, engaging with my family. Classical example. When you are not happy with your student or with a nurse, always try to segregate the incident from the person. So in counseling and in giving feedback also, there's a very principle that we all discuss. Separate the person from the incident. The person does not become bad. Maybe the incident needs to be addressed. So that is what you choose to do. So you are having a good time with your team, you're having a good meeting, and then someone says something which is like there's no need to say. Suddenly it is everybody is being quiet and this person told something, and you are feeling very angry. Right now, what do? Now, in my leadership class also, I tell the same things. There is a very interesting way. It's an English sentence, okay? You can use this as a tip in your entire life. So you are not happy with this person. So what you will say? That interesting, Lena. Why do you say so? So you are not getting angry. You are trying to understand from where this person is coming. So that's interesting. With a smile, you can say that's interesting. Why do you say so? So all these things are good to hear, but it's very important to practice. And believe me, it took me time to remember all these things when things were getting difficult. But the more you practice, the more it will come to you automatically. It is almost like preparing a dish many times that you become the master of that dish, right? Experience. Give that experience to yourself. Practice the things that we are discussing in the session. Notice and name the problems that you think that you can. So you can unhook yourself. You can unhook yourself by doing the different practices that we just discussed about engaging, being focusing, and then being mindful. So reminding yourself that this is something that I am going to practice. You can also be hooked by unhelpful thoughts. So don't get hooked by wrong negative thoughts all the time. Do something to get yourself unhooked. So this is very important. First, you notice and name and say, this is what I am experiencing. And now you are going to make sure that you are going to act on your values. So all the actions that you are going to undertake will be based on the values that you have in your life. So you are going to say, what do I want to do in this particular situation? Do I want to make sure that I have to show who is the boss? Or I have to show that I want to help you as a team member? If I decide my values always to show who is the boss, then I will handle all the situations in that manner, giving more stress to myself and to others. So get your values totally grounded and say that I decide to be kind. In such situation, I can decide to be kind, to be caring. So all these are good values. Clarify your values. This is part of the book. I'll be sharing the PDF to anyone who wants to have that. In all the groups that I shared the meeting link, I'll be sharing the PDF also. So go through each page slowly. You don't have to read all the 132 pages together, though I am trying to summarize them in this 90 minutes. I'll take another 10 or 15 minutes more to complete the session. So you will talk about caring for yourself and for others and being kind to others. That is how you can work on your values. Be kind and be responsible, be grateful, be friendly. You will decide what are those values that you want to plant them as a seed. Many of you are very young nurses starting your life. What are those values that you want to plant, which will become a big tree as you grow? Now, you want to become a tree that will be useful for yourself and for others, right? So you have to plant the right seed today. You all must have already planted seeds. God bless you. They grow and flourish and bless you and many more who is coming in contact with you, especially our patients. What are the values that we carry to our patients? Are we caring enough? Are we kind enough? Are we responsible enough? Are we committed enough? Are we courageous enough? Are we honest enough? Are we carrying integrity when we manage our patients? So, if you look at it, a great nurse, a good nurse, and not so good nurse, what will be the difference? The difference will be their values. You become a great nurse because you believe in certain values. Whether somebody is looking at you or not looking at you, you will still do the right thing. That's the value that you are going to. You better plant that seed, make it so strong that every patient, every family, every team member who is going to be in touch with you, they are going to value that relationship that you have built. People will like to be in touch with you. Patients will love to have you as a nurse. So go back to the time when a patient told that they really missed you. Did you feel very good about it? When I was an assigned nurse, I was so proud when my patients missed me. I'll say, oh my God, my patients missed me. That's so nice. It was a motivating thing for me to do more and better. Find the purpose in life, find the meaning in life. See that you are able to live by your values. This is very important. Don't give up by saying, oh, I can't do anything about the situation, so I'm going to give up. Notice and name them. Sometimes there are situations that you cannot get out, but it is difficult. Notice and name them and say, I am going to approach this based on my values. When you sacrifice your values, unfortunately, my experience of 63 years tells that you will not be happy. Sacrificed your values. So we do have regrets in life. Now, this is very important that we all make mistakes. So it is very important that we learn also to forgive ourselves. This is also important that we learn that we should be able to forgive ourselves. Change what can be changed, accept the pain that cannot be changed, and live by your values. I mean, this is a big saying that you must have heard about elsewhere also. And don't go away from your values. Give up those things which is taking you away from your values. Do something about it. Don't stay in that situation forever where your values are getting sacrificed. So, what can you do? Change what can be changed. Accept the pain that cannot be changed. Sometimes that can happen in life, but always live by your values because there's no running away from all the difficult things that can happen. So there are memories that can be painful. Treat them as memories. Think about the good things you have with that person. I lost my father. I don't think about his last days. I always think about the good times that I had with my papa, what he taught me in my life. So it gives me more strength when I think of him rather than making me weak that how much I miss him. So we all develop our own coping mechanisms, and that's exactly what this book is talking about. Just being kind to others, whether they expect or not expect, just being kind in thoughts, in our actions, thoughts and in spirit, because this is very important. When we have unkind thoughts, then it's a pretense that, it's like a drama that you are trying to be kind to somebody else. That's not the case. It has to be genuine kindness, like Simon told in the beginning. It has to be genuine kindness. Practice being that kind. And now, when you have some unkind thought about yourself or others, stop for a moment and notice that this is what I am having thoughts. I would like to change that. Don't stay in that particular situation forever. So you will see that repeatedly the same words are, coming up. noticing that this is what is happening with me. This is being very painful, but being kind to somebody else to say, I'm here for you. When someone is going through a tough time, it's not asking what happened, what happened. It's just like telling that person, I'm right here. If you need me, I'm right here. That is being kind. Allow the person to be alone, but you are there just in case they want to share something with you. Then you can help others, right? And then definitely unhook. Don't get hooked to those feelings, and don't become a victim. This is another problem that can happen in life, is that I am always like this. I never get good in my life. My needs are not important. I am going to sacrifice anyway. So there is a saying, no, if our cup has got something, then only we can give to others. So it is important to feed ourselves, not with food, with good things, good thoughts, good feelings, so that we can share it with other people. So it is very important to be kind to self, not just practice being kind to others only. So practice being kind to yourself. The last part of the book is talking about making room. Making room means making room for your thoughts, your feelings. It's important to acknowledge and say, okay, I am going to see. Sometimes what happens, something painful happened, right? There is time, there is stages of grief also. All of you have learned, you have to make room for that, because there is a place, there is a space in which you have to stay there for some time. The weather will anyway change, so you have to make room, you have to give yourself time. Let's say that you failed in a class, or a particular course, or something you failed. You will feel cold, you will feel sad, you will feel agitated. Maybe you have to tell yourself that, I'm going to think about it. Yes, I'm feeling agitated. Tomorrow morning, I'll take a call on what I need to do. So, tomorrow morning, when you get up, you'll say, thank you for one more day. Okay, today is a new day, and I am deciding myself that I am going to do something about this particular situation. So, I am going to study and make sure this time I'm going to pass. So, it is more about making room to notice and name what is happening, and then deciding what I want to engage, what I want to refocus. So, making room for all these practices is very important. It is okay to feel the pain, it is okay to feel confused, it is okay to feel any kind of feelings that come to you. There is nothing wrong in that, all right? It's important that I make room to do the practices that I have learned. So now, today, if you go from here and say it was a good session, but nothing changes in your life, then I would say this is actually a waste of time for each one of us. Maybe today you are going to decide that this is what you are. Okay, there is a shadow. I'm trying to take it to the other side. So you can make space. Like today, I'm deciding I need to do more of touching the ground, because I'm a person who always wears slippers, always wears shoes. I hardly ever touch the ground. So I am planning to walk barefoot every day for maybe at least few minutes. So that's something I am deciding today, and it will not become a practice if I don't make room for that practice. This is very, very important to remember, that how do you make room for that practice? Whether it is about reading, keeping a journal, or reading the news, or calling up your friends, spending time with your children, going to the garden, taking a break with your family. So sometimes what happens when you take a break with your family, if you're still on the phone talking to somebody else, then why did you take the break with the family? So it is very important to remember that I'm going to be there with my family, right? Someday I tell myself, some Saturdays and some Sundays, I tell myself, today, no laptop, close it down, because today is my own company. I can decide, right? Mostly Sundays also I am working for the next weeks. So when I feel stressed, I say, okay, today nothing. I am going to watch back to back 3 movies. One English, one Hindi, one Malayalam. All 3 movies I will watch back to back. And I don't feel guilty about it. I'll tell myself, it's okay, it's your time. You want to unwind, so I make room for myself. So maybe there are certain things that you have to make room for yourself. But these are all proven techniques. Please understand, these are all proven techniques. So you don't need to ask. The WHO's document is well researched, evidence-based practices. And please remember, with practice only, it will become much easier. So if I start practicing barefoot starting today, I'm sure that I will definitely remember to walk barefoot. And every day when I walk barefoot, I am telling myself, I am grounding myself. I'm grounding myself. I'm able to see things objectively so that I don't get carried away. The question that, can you sleep easily in the night? Are you carrying thoughts and feelings which you are not supposed to carry to your pillow? Now, this is a practice. I know that, many years ago, all the problems that happen in hospital will come to me when I'm sleeping. Then that time, then it will take me 2-3 hours for me to sleep. So I had to practice to say that, those problems can be dealt with tomorrow. I don't need to think about it today, tonight. Now let me say thank you for this day and say thank you so much for all the blessings I got today. And thank you for keeping me safe while I'm sleeping. And thank you for making me and my family wake up tomorrow. And constant prayer was also thank you for helping my nurses not to harm any patient, even by mistake. So these were the things that I used to recite to myself to keep myself in the right frame of mind, not to get totally stressed into that. So what are the thoughts and feelings that you are carrying? Notice them, name them, and do something about it. Keeping a journal for gratitude is a great way of, de-stressing. So I have this book. This is from Rhonda Wayne. This is called a gratitude book, secret gratitude book. So on one side, on one side of the page, it asks you to write. So if you want, you can look up in Amazon, you'll find. On one side of the page, you write the things that you're grateful for today. And on the other side, you write the things that you're grateful for in the future as though it happened today. This is called law of attraction or law of visualization, they call it. So you can practice. You don't need this book. You can take any notebook and say put a line in the center and say this side, left side, I will write all the things that I'm grateful for. And on the right side, I will write all the things that I'm grateful for tomorrow, but as though it happened today. So you will say, thank you for making me the nursing head, because that's your dream. You're not yet nursing head. Start writing it. You will start believing it. When you start believing it, you will work towards it. So it's almost like exercising your muscle. So we are come to almost to the end of the session. So you stay grounded, notice your thoughts, slow down, connect and refocus, unhook, notice what is hooking you. Name them, refocus so that you get unhooked. Always act on your values. If there are things which is against your values, can you leave them? Leave them. Change what you can change. Accept what you really cannot change, but always live by your values. And then don't give up and move away from your values. Being kind, notice, name, focus, and always remember to practice being kind. Now, this is very important. Making room, we said, make room for everything. Noticing what is difficult, naming them, and then saying that what are you going to refocus on, so that you make room for all the thoughts that is coming to you. Don't stay in denial. Denial does not help, right? Name them, notice them, name them. Now you learned all the techniques, practice those techniques so that let them also give room for them also to practice, to say, yes, I have to make time for those practices. Not that they take hours. It is not like I have to run for 30 minutes. That's a physical exercise is also important, but it's more here. All these things between our 2 years are very important, which decides what kind of a life that you are going to do. Now, this is not from WHO. I thought these are very great tips for all of you to have. Spend time with friends or with your family. Follow a balanced diet. Very important for nurses. Don't go to duty without eating. It doesn't help you, make you irritable. Do things that you enjoy. Enjoy nature. Sleep enough and exercise. Now, there are so many tips that you can get here. Do a random act of kindness. Every day, do one act of kindness. Do something creative. Would you like to draw? Would you like to write a poem? I don't know. Stay away from social media for 8 hours, maybe for a day, maybe for a few hours. Can I ask everyone to mute yourself? Spend a day alone in the nature. Declutter your room. This is a very good technique that if you clean your cupboard or your room, you actually feel good at the end of the day. Spend time with animals, great way. If you have a dog, cat, I'm sure that you appreciate that. Give yourself compliments. So if you come to my home, on my dressing mirror, I have 2 words written with lipstick. I am enough. I have enough. Always reminds me, I don't need to compare myself with anyone. I have enough. I am enough. The competition for me is myself. How do I make myself better? In my experience, in my life, something I learned. Unhealthy competition and comparisons, unhealthy comparing can bring you down and make your life literally miserable. We really have to practice these things. That's the only way we are going to stay in a positive frame of mind. Spend time with loved one. So I have a date with my son for this Sunday to go for dinner. So I'm looking forward to that. He said he will take me to a fancy dinner, fancy restaurant that we missed last time for dinner. I said, wow, that's exciting. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm already, anticipating. So these little things are important. We stay together, right? But my son has given me a date. I'm feeling very happy about it. Watch a movie. Dance it out. If you love to dance, dance it out. That's what I love to do. Dress up and take yourself out. Why don't you dress up? So today I put all pink because I said I want to look pinky and happy for all of you, those who have joined with me today. So thank you for being here, all of you. Now, a very short video on kindness, as I told you.
Sometimes it's easy to feel like the world's getting harder. But if we look closer, on the news, on the web, on the street, we're anything but unkind. Every day, we hear new stories of people trying to make the world a better place. And together, we can make the world that little bit kinder for all of us. It all starts with just one person, you. The thing about kindness is that it's just about the only thing in the world that doubles when you share it. And it's a fact, backed by science. Studies have shown that if you perform just one random act of kindness a day, you'll not only reduce your stress, anxiety, and depression, but your body is flooded with the same hormones that make you and the person you've helped calmer, healthier, and happier. Serotonin, which heals your wounds, helps you relax and makes you feel good. Endorphins, which reduce pain, and oxytocin, which reduces blood pressure and makes you feel more loving and loved. You'll both be more energized, feel less aches and pains, more confident, and could even live longer. And if other people see you helping someone else, they'll be filled with those same feel-good hormones, meaning they're significantly more likely to pay it forward. Like taking that extra moment to hold the elevator for someone, spotting a coffee for a stranger who's just a few cents short, giving your neighbor a hand with their groceries, even just smiling and meaning it. It doesn't take much, but it can make a huge difference for everyone. Those people you've helped will help other people, and those other people will help even more people. And those random acts of kindness can start a chain reaction that can spread across an entire community, a city, a country, and with enough of us, the world. Now, isn't that the world we all want? And it all starts with one.
So friends, it all starts with you and me. Not anybody else in our life. It has to start with us. So these are all the things that we learned from the WHO guide: grounding, unhooking, acting on your values, being kind, and then making room. Last is just a little bit of advertisement from my company. We are starting our hospital infection control nurse program. That's the 6th batch on this Monday. You can share this information, and if anybody is interested for this ICN course, this is almost a 5 to 6 months course. People can, register for that. And so I will just give one last question for all of you to answer. Many of you have left, it doesn't matter. So I am going to run that last one, that how do you feel now? Thank you for being here till the last. We still have almost 50 people here, 48 to be precise. That how are you feeling? So though, have you written down what you're going to do? Please write 5 seconds, write 1 or 2 things that you're going to practice because you came here, something new that you have not been doing, but you would love to start from today. Are you going to start a random act of kindness? Once again, it's a memory for me, reminding me that I should engage more in random act of kindness. I do try to do that, but I don't do it on a daily basis. So I would love to, make it a daily habit. So I'm sure that some of you are dropping away before the, poll is finishing. So thank you so much. The people who answered, 50% of them said they are feeling excellent. Some are feeling very good and some are feeling good. Okay, that's a small percentage. So I really hope that each one of you have taken away something from here today, so that you will start developing some healthy habits to manage your stress in your life. So thank you so much. I think you have stayed back. I have taken extra time because of all the stories that I shared. And thank you so much for being here. And I hope stay positive, stay spiritual, and stay thankful. And attitude of gratitude is a very powerful weapon, because it helps us to be kind, to be many other positive things when the basic gratitude attitude is implanted in us. So I'm going to stop recording, and thank you so much for being here. Take care and practice what you learned today. Bye-bye.